Hey guys, welcome to DevTech Finance. In this video, we would be covering the topic general insurance, where we would be learning about peril and hazard, risk and loss, principles of insurance, as well as types of insurance. So let's move forward with the video. Before starting to understand the principles and types of insurance, we must be aware about some of the basic terminologies which is related to insurance. So what exactly insurance is? It is method of transferring the risk of financial losses from one entity to another in exchange of premium. So whenever as an individual you are taking insurance from the insurance company, you would be paying some amount of premium to the insurance company. Now this premium is the charge which the insurance company is charging you because they would be providing you the coverage for any kind of uncertain loss that could happen in the future. So for example, if you have taken car insurance and if any damage happens to your car as per the terms and conditions of the policy, the insurance company would be providing you the coverage amount to cover the loss that has been the loss or damage that has been to your car value, whereas in exchange you would be paying the premium for a certain period of time to get that coverage. Now, who is an insurer? So, the company selling the insurance is referred as insurer. Insured. The person or entity whose risk is covered through insurance is referred as insured. So, when you are taking insurance from insurance company, you are the insured and the insurance company is insurer. What is premium? We already talked about it. It is the charge for a certain amount of coverage which you are taking. Policy. It is written contract or certificate of insurance. So whenever you are provided with insurance policy which mentions the terms and conditions, it is forming a kind of contract between you and the insurance company. So it is a certificate of insurance which is a proof of all the terms and conditions related which would be fulfilled to the contract to be legal. In case those terms and conditions are not fulfilled, those contract can also be considered as void or illegal. Risk. Uncertainty of future or deviation from expected outcome resulting into losses. So why is anyone taking insurance? The basic factor is the risk. So risk is referring to uncertainty of future. Whenever you are purchasing your own house, now you are not sure that your house would be remaining in the same condition. In any case, if any natural calamity occurs and there is a lot of damage to your new built house, the property, so there is a kind of risk related. Now you are taking the coverage, the house insurance, the home insurance to safeguard that risk. In case of any damage or property loss, the coverage amount which would be provided to you would not depend on the premium which you have provided. So the premium is very low. However, the coverage amount would be to serve your damaged amount. So if the damaged losses is very high, the coverage would be provided. The coverage amount would also be high. Irrespective of how much premium you have paid till then. Now, what is peril? Peril is cause of a risk and losses. So, for example, natural disaster. Now, natural disaster is a cause of a risk because when it comes any kind of floods or cyclones, there is a lot of damage to the property as well as the human life. So, that is a cause of risk. So, any cause of a risk would be referred as peril. Now, hazard. Hazard is condition that increases the frequency or severity of loss. Cause of risk was referred as peril. However, whatever increases the severity of loss, that would be referred as hazard. So, for examples, when the natural disaster came, that was peril. But however, the open electric wires, which could increase the severity of loss, which could increase the damages, that would be referred as hazard. Now let's move on to what are the requirements for insurable risk. So not all kind of risk could be insured. What risk has to be insured? So it should be pure risk. Now pure risk means that there should be chances of loss or no loss. There should be no scope for profit. So insurance companies would be covering your loss amount and would not be providing you any kind of profit. Second is accidental and unintentional. So to get an insurance, it's very important that the risk or the loss should be or the loss in in any scenario should be accidental and unintentional. So it can't happen that intentionally you are damaging your vehicle and you are claiming the insurance amount for your vehicle insurance. So the requirement is that it should be unintentional and it should be accidental. So the risk and the loss amount should not be specified, should not be certain, it need to be uncertain. Feasible premium. Insurance companies come up with the policies, only those policies where they could provide feasible premium. So that makes it very important that the need for that particular insurance, for example fire insurance, home insurance, the life insurance, these are the insurance for which the need of for which there is need of large customers, large set of people having the same need, having the same risk of losses, which is there in their day to day life. And for this reason the insurance company could provide feasible premium, which is a very low amount as compared to the coverage amount which the insurance companies provides in case of any loss. Thus, to make the premium feasible, it becomes important that the need should serve large set of customers. Large number of exposure units. So this already I have mentioned that to any insurance policy to come in the market, it's very important that there is need of large number of people, or else that insurance would lie insignificant, and the insurance companies could earn nothing by it. So it's very necessary that there is a need of that particular insurance by a large set of people. Now it should be measurable. So measurable defines here the loss amount that has to be measured by the insurance company before providing you any coverage. So for example, you have taken insurance, your home insurance, and any damages happen to your property. Now it's not that you would be claiming any unspecified, any sort of amount, and the insurance company would be paying you that. It's that the insurance company would come, they would the insurance the insurer, the agents would come, they would investigate your property, and they would try to analyze how much should be the loss amount and what coverage should be provided accordingly. So it's not that whatever you ask for would be provided by you, it would be provided to you. It is on the basis of the measured loss amount, the coverage amount which would be provided. No high probability of loss. So it's also very important because the whole insurance business runs on probability of loss. So if there would be high probability of loss, the insurance companies would be running in losses itself, because the chances of them paying the coverage amount and you getting secured would be higher. So here the chances should not be significant, so they won't be providing you insurance if there would be high probability of loss. So for example, if you are going through a critical illness, you are going through cancer and you are asking for health insurance, they may not be providing you the insurance, the health insurance, because they know that the chances of you dying is very high, and thus if they would be providing the coverage amount they would be providing for it would be very high in compared to the premium which you have to pay. So the chances of loss should not be very certain, should not be very high. Insurance as subject matter of solicitation. Now this line forms the basics of insurance, which says that the insurance has to be asked or requested, and it is not meant to be sold as any financial product. So the customer should ask for insurance because it is their need to cover their risk in day-to-day life, and the insurance agents would be guiding by suggesting them the insurance policy as per their need. But it is not something to be sold in the market, it is to be asked by the customers. Now coming to principles of insurance. So principles of insurance guides out the norms to be followed for existence of contract between the insurer and the insured, in absence of which the insurance contract could be void. So principles of insurance are setting out the norms, the rules that should be there in any insurance contract. In case if it's not there, those insurance contract could be called void, or that could be nullified. So insurance contract could be to be legal, it should be according to these principles which are set out. So let's see. First is principle of indemnity, second principle of insurable interest, third principle of utmost good faith, fourth principle of contribution, fifth principle of subrogation, sixth is principle of average, and seventh is principle of proximate cause. So one by one we would be learning about all these principles. Let's move forward and look after principle of indemnity. It states that the insurer will compensate only the loss amount and not provide any sort of profit. So when I was talking about the pure risk term, I already mentioned that the insurance companies would be provided only for your loss amount and will not be guaranteeing you any kind of profit. So the pure insurance policies which are providing you coverage for losses, that is on the basis of principles of indemnity. It also ensures that to provide guaranteed coverage that would be enough to put the insured back to the financial position prior to loss. So if you have taken insurance of certain property or something, if there is any sort of loss as per the terms and conditions mentioned in the policy, it would be providing you the coverage to cover all those losses and put you back in your financial position as you were prior, but it won't provide you any sort of profit. So for example, the term covers which are provided as life insurance policy, they are pure insurance because they would be providing the insurance coverage on sort of loss of life, and they won't be providing any kind of profit. Whereas when we talk about the insurance policy these days very famous, which is ULIP, that is unit linked insurance plan, that is not a pure insurance policy because it invests some of the amount in the stock market, and there they start to provide you a little bit of profit along with the insurance coverage. So your risk coverage over there reduces. They are not providing you the full risk coverage because they are providing you some sort of profit by investing in the market as well. So that was not according to principle of indemnity. So an insurance to be a pure insurance cover, it has to be followed under the principle of indemnity. Second is principle of insurable interest. Now, this principle states that the insured must hold significant interest in the subject matter of insurance, i.e., they should be the owner. It should be evidence that the insured is interested in preservation of thing, life or health insured, and would suffer loss in case of damage. So principle of insurable interest is just trying to explain you that when you are taking insurance of something, make sure that you are holding interest in that particular subject matter of insurance. So anything, your life or health insurance, you should be the owner, you should be the one who would be suffering the loss in case of any damage. So this is simply the principle of insurable interest, because if there won't be any kind of interest for which you are taking the insurance, it won't serve the insurance purpose. Third is principle of utmost good faith. Now, according to this principle, both the parties, that is both the insurance company as well as the individual asking for insurance, that is insured, the insurance contract must disclose all fact material to the risk voluntarily to each other. So whenever both the parties are coming into this insurance contract, they must disclose all fact materials to the risk. So the insurance companies, when they provide you the policies with the terms and conditions, they ask you to read all those things. This is because they are disclosing all the material facts, and you need to study all those things to get a relevant idea about what exactly are the terms and conditions and when you are eligible to get the coverage amount. However, when you are asking for any insurance, it is equally important that you specify all the details about that particular thing for which you are taking insurance, or else it would be something you are hiding. It won't serve the insurance contract and it can be void. So, for example, when you are taking health insurance, it's very important that you give the insurance company your health report, which would be mentioning all your details, and any kind of disease, specific diseases should not be hidden, which would be serving that particular loss purpose. Now, coming to principle of contribution. This principle is implemented when multiple insurance policies are covering the same property. Then, in case of loss, coverage is provided proportionally by all insurance companies. So, it's not important that you are taking the whole coverage amount from a single insurance company. Many a time it happens that for the same property, for any particular vehicle or any particular home, you are taking insurance from multiple insurance companies. What would happen in case there would be damage to that particular property? So here then the principle of contribution would come into picture, which would say that the coverage amount would be provided you proportionally by all the insurance companies. So whatever coverage you have taken from particular insurance companies, the cover for the loss would be provided in the same proportion. Fifth is principle of average. This principle is applicable in case of underinsurance where the payout against a claim will be in same proportion as the value of underinsurance. It is also known as proportionate settlement. So, for example, if you have taken insurance of a home, but the insurance company suggested you to take the as per the details and whatever the maximum loss amount could be in case of damage to your home, the insurance company suggested you some amount to be taken as coverage, but you have not taken the full coverage of insurance. You have taken a lower coverage, and you try to serve the rest by on your own. So that would be proportionate settlement because you have not taken the full coverage amount. So in case there would be any damage to your property and the coverage would be very high, but that won't be served by the insurance company, it would be in the same proportion as the value of underinsurance, because they had already mentioned you that you are taking an underinsurance policy. Here you won't be paying the same premium as in the other policy related. Next is principle of subrogation. As per this principle, after the insured is compensated for the loss due to damage to property insured, then the right of ownership of such property passes on to the insurer. So, if there is total loss to your property, let's take an example of vehicle only which you are owning. If there is total loss to your vehicle and you have taken your insurance coverage for that loss, which has provided you the full amount to get the new vehicle. Now after that you won't be having the ownership on that particular vehicle. That ownership would be passed on to the insurer because they have provided you the coverage amount which is actually covering the cost of your vehicle. So in this case the principle of subrogation would apply. Then last is principle of proximate cause. In series of events where loss has incurred due to more than one cause in succession, the proximate or nearest cause is identified, and if that cause is insured against, insurance company is bound to pay, and vice versa. So what happens that many times it happens that when you are incurring a loss that's not due to a particular cause, there may be many causes due to which a particular damage occurred. In that case, the insurance company would try to find out the nearest cause, the main cause which because of which the damage happened, and if that cause is insured in as per the terms and conditions, then the coverage amount would be provided. But if that cause is not insured according to the policy, then the insurance company won't be bound to pay you. Now coming to types of insurance. So insurance is basically, we can divide it as life insurance and non-life insurance, which is also referred as general insurance. So in this general insurance module, we would be covering various topics like fire insurance, health insurance, motor insurance, and marine insurance. So in my next videos, I would be telling in detail about these types of insurance, and we would be covering all the general insurance parts. Thank you for watching. This was all for this video. Do like and share my videos. Subscribe to my channel, DaveTech Finance. Thank you all.